Hey there, fellow creators. Ben here from Cinder Studios, and this week I thought it'd be fun to react to famous art scenes from cartoons and to see how accurately they represent art and the creative process and what else I might think of in watching them. The first one, Dilbert, an engineer's perspective of art.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Welcome to Painting with Rusty Shanks.
Last
Bob Ross,
week I
obviously.
taught you how to paint shrubbery using your own head as a brush.
That was a good show.
Today we'll take a ride into the wild world of modern abstract art. Yeah, just paint, Rusty, don't talk. Some people think abstract art can't be taught.
I think that.
Let's say you wanted to express an emotion such as, a fear of caterpillars. What color would you choose? Orange.
Green.
Purple.
That's right. It's our friend Taupe. Taupe. Taupe! How do you make taupe?
Okay, that's actually really funny. I actually have no idea what taupe is either. I think it might be a brown shade, but I have absolutely no clue.
Rusty, you're killing me. And what shape works best with taupe? Circle.
Triangle.
Line.
If you said octagon, you're right. We'll represent the octagon with a dot, and the color taupe will be represented by the color orange.
Okay, so this is actually really interesting because it's absolutely correct in terms of how abstract art is portrayed, or it's portrayed correctly, which is almost never is. In fact, a lot of artists refer to things like paint pouring and very non-objective work as abstract. The thing is that work is, for the most part, non-objective. You can't really call it abstract. For something actually to be considered abstract, you have to be distorting or changing or representing something with either, like Rusty Shanks is doing in this show inside the show. It's a representation of a representation. So it's actually a very accurate concept behind what abstract actually means.
It's levels upon levels.
I don't get art. Who decided that a painting of a bowl of fruit is art? How long can you look at the same bowl of fruit anyway? At least with the actual fruit itself, you can rearrange the pieces once in a while. You can eat it if you're hungry. You can watch it rot. But if all you have is a painting of fruit, your options are limited.
I sort of agree. I find a lot of still life can be at least relatively boring to look at. Although still life does teach you a lot about color and light and value, and they can be really great practices for a lot of artists. But the great still lives over time, perhaps. It is weird, and it is definitely very subjective, as all art is.
So you think the whole art scene is just one big scam to make money?
I'm beginning to wonder.
I'd better look into it.
You do that, and report back.
Who are you? Who let you in here? What do you think you're doing?
We wish to interrupt this program in order to bring you this special bulletin. Art teacher Rusty Shanks has disappeared.
No, I haven't. I'm right here.
This, coupled with his refusal to repay certain outstanding loans, has forced the cancellation of the Painting with Rusty show.
I can get the money. No!
We now return to Painting without Rusty Shanks, already in progress.
They say you have to suffer for your art. I wonder if that's what they meant.
That episode was fantastic. The whole show, unfortunately, only got 2 seasons, but I love Dilbert. It's great. All right, fairly common one here that I think a lot of artists have reacted to over the years. Squidward's art class, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I have dreamed of this day. Mr. Tentacles, Professor of Art. What a marvelous opportunity for the people of Bikini Bottom. Bring me your huddled masses of bored house.
Yeah, so Squidward is very much self-obsessed, and I think in a lot of ways that makes him a fairly terrible teacher, because it's like, it's all about me, rather than being, it's all about my students and their goals, really. There is absolutely a high art, low art thing, but yeah,
Don't want
it's...
to keep them waiting any longer. I'm so excited about Welcome to art class.
Oh, isn't this cooking? Sorry. Oh, never mind.
Hi, Squidward!
Okay, that's actually really funny, because I totally believe that more people would be interested in a cooking class than an art class. Kind of sucks, but at the grand scheme of things, like, yeah, you're not getting a crowd for an art class, especially at a community center.
Are you taking this art class too?
SpongeBob, in art class. Wait, this is cooking. Come back. You gotta be kidding.
You are the teacher to my pupil? This is an art class. It's heaven.
Well, art is not all fun and games. It's a lot of hard work.
Okay, this is played as sort of a as a joke, but it's pretty hilarious, because it's one of those things where you know both the writers and the producers and the artists behind the show. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it is not just fun and games, especially for producing a cartoon show. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work.
Some of Mr. Tentacle's talent may rub off on me.
That sounds
If
weirdly
I'm
gross.
lucky, Mr. Talent will rub his tentacles on my art.
Actually, I take it back. That's worse.
Whatever. Okay, since you're telling me you have no prior training, we'll have to start from square one. Or should I say, circle one.
Interesting, I noticed a lot about that is Squidward specifically used his wrist to draw the circle, and at that scale on that big of a board, you'd probably use your whole shoulder. Although with my wrist recovering, I probably couldn't do much better.
Am I going too fast for you, SpongeBob?
How's it, Squidward?
What the? How the? A perfect circle? Do it again. Show your process.
Well, first I draw this head, then I erased some of the more detailed features. And 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I do want to stop it here, because again, playing it up as the joke, those circles and those lines did not match that first head, and I'm pretty sure that's just there to piss off anyone who actually knows anything. But other than that, the line work and what's there, and it's mostly right. Also, with that much erasing, that paper would not survive, no question there.
A circle thingy.
Give me that. Forget the circles.
All right, next one. Sokka paints a landscape. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Landscape painting teaches a warrior to hold the lay of the land in his mind. In battle, you only have an instant to take everything in.
Fun fact about this, I actually do know this from the show. This particular shot was based on a real place, which is why it looks so absolutely incredible. I mean, everything in the show looks incredible, but that alone, I mean, I've paused on this frame multiple times. I'm like, I gotta paint this someday. And not generally like what it's inspired by, but this exact thing from the show.
Now paint it.
Master P and Dow is such a jerk,
I'm finished.
but I love him.
You added a rainbow.
Is that okay?
Okay. Sokka is a great character in this show. He's shown to have an interest in the arts for sure throughout the course of the show, but he is a terrible artist. Like he kind of does whatever he wants. Doesn't really observe anything. He just kind of things, and it like Master P and Dow. He's like, you added a rainbow. It's like, that's not the worst part of this piece. I would say the worst part of it is the waterfall's not even in there. It was just mountains and green stuff. And it's like, okay, I know you only saw it for a second, but what the hell are you doing here? Clearly it's he looked at it for a second. He had to try and remember, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure anyone would do better than that, because they like, hey, or at the very least they're hearing a waterfall behind them, so it's like, at least make an attempt. But I'm not sure what Sokka was thinking doing this. Next one, we have Eat the Scrap, the Iron Giant.
There are two kinds of metal in this yard: scrap and art. If you gotta eat one of them, eat the scrap. What you currently have in your mouth is art. Forget it. Forget it. It's gone. It's not bad.
I'm actually completely on par with Dean in this one. It's not bad. It's actually quite good. There's a huge market for found object art and recycled art, especially what he was kind of doing, like building sculptures out of scrap. That's really quite something too. There's absolutely a market for it. There's people that are really good at it. I find a lot of people that are sort of like welders or machinists or in that realm often do stuff like that or prop building as an outlet, a creative outlet for like from their day job. Really, really great. Also fantastic movie. And I love that you have this junkyard owner that is this artist at heart, but he has his day job like I think a lot of artists, including myself, though I don't work in a junkyard. All right, last one, graffiti scene, SpiderMan Into the Spider-Verse.
Whoa. Brooklyn!
There's a lot of history on these walls.
This is so fresh.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go back just to say, I want to see this can in the air. So this is actually quite interesting. So I'm pretty sure they're modeling their cans after somewhere between like a Krylon can as well as I think it's the MTN cans or the Iron Lac can. Actually, it's probably closer to the Iron Lac cans. Really interesting, especially to see the amount of detail they put into this, especially with all the writing on the back of the can, because that's absolutely what a spray can looks like. Okay, here's another interesting section. The top of the can, in addition to the color being on the cap that's also in the ring, pretty much all high-end spray paints and professional spray paints have that exact same thing. The color, whether it has the actual top of the can, it also has that painted ring that tells you exactly what color you're using. And what's interesting, he's cracking the top of this can. It's definitely a used can because you can see that color already on the nozzle itself. The attention to detail in this movie is phenomenal. That said, there's actually a lot wrong with this scene. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out here is that you can see a lot, especially on the edges of this piece. So he's got a really kind of large canvas to work on. But one thing that any good street artist will or won't do is specifically most artists, if they're respected, they won't paint over another artist's work, whether that be a tag, a mural, or whatever. If you see anybody painting over top of any of those things, that someone has in many ways disrespected the other person's work, and it's seen in a very negative light.
Now you cut that line with another color.
That's actually a really great line in the middle of this. Talking about artists knowing what they're talking about and expressing that through the script of this. Cut that line with another color. That's absolutely something that would be said, especially giving a younger artist advice for a mural of any kind. Pay attention to where he's spraying, because I'm gonna point that out later.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm pausing here on the sort of them admiring the work. Okay, first of all, he was just spraying in that upper left-hand corner. There is no paint anywhere near that corner, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Second of all, because this whole movie is a mashing of styles and art styles and things like that. One, I will say you will never, ever, ever be able to get lines that thin and that clean, especially stored towards the top and bottoms of that mural. This is spray paint we're talking about, and unless they pulled out a brush, which was not shown, they're not getting lines that clean. Also, you saw a lot of this that I did. You're seeing some drips there. He was very, very close to that wall with those spray caps. That thing should look like a runny mess at the bottom of it. The whole bottom of that is super clean, like it was not even touched. That should be just splatters and drips everywhere. There's no way it would be that clean. Props for them on showing some of the drips, but nowhere near with how close they were to that wall. That whole thing should just be a way bigger mess than it is. Additionally, because I would say evidence to back that up, it's clearly a fairly pristine wall. It was painted at some point. It's painted brick. Painted brick is a lot less absorbent than a more worn down brick, something that even has probably more water damage than I would expect out of an old subway tunnel. So, for those reasons alone, both being close with the spray as well as the what would be a fairly smooth surface that he was painting on, the whole bottom of that should be just a drippy mess.
All right, come on, man. I gotta roll.
Okay, so this scene's playing out, but I want to make note that they left all of their spray cans there, which is insane. So even if they're empty, one, that's extremely rude because it's littering and that's horrible. Two, paint's expensive. Like even cheap spray paint, like take that crap with you. You've got a big bag, just take it back with you. I mean, clearly taking the boombox back with you. Take the paint. Not to mention that if on the off chance that they were caught to some degree, the first thing they're going to do, the police would do, is grab those cans for fingerprints. Because, if anybody's ever used spray paint, they know that paint tends to get on your hands a little bit, and your prints are all over those cans. So that was my look at some art scenes in famous cartoons. If you guys have any suggestions for me on which ones to do next, if you have other cartoons or scenes from movies that are art related or show art specifically, I would love to see them if I haven't already seen them. And I would love to kind of give my reaction and opinion on them in terms of how accurate they really are. But if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Get subscribed if you're not already. Check me out in the social links in the description box below, including the community Discord. Thanks for watching. Keep on creating, and I will see you guys next time.